I was born in Troy, North Carolina in 1925. Troy is a small town with maybe about 2,500 people in 1925, and I would say now it's about 2,024 people. My dad's name was Alec Staley, or either he went by his initial A.L. Staley. He was the greatest father you could ever have. And at the same time, my mom was named Neely Staley. And I had the greatest parents, but they were from the old school. And the old school means in 1925 and 28, when you're buying clothes and so forth for kids, it was somewhat different. We had, when I went to school, for instance, the first grade, and 6 years old, I had on patched overalls. And to the best of my memory, there was one other boy in the class that had patched overalls. That memory has stuck with me to this day, that I felt someday I could do better. And in the Depression, it was a depression. In the summertime, in lieu of playing, we were working. And we were working either in the cornfield or the bean field or a tomato field. We had several fields, and we grew them all of vegetables. And I think my dad grew them just to keep my brother and I busy. My parents were very loyal to the church. They were Christians, and they believed in us being raised as Christians. I was one of two people that had an automobile in school. It was a 1937, I believe, and I paid $250, four-door convertible. Fancy dude in those days. I lived there my years up until graduation from high school, and I graduated in 1943. And shortly thereafter, in approximately April, I was drafted into the Army. And Troy is in the background. Let me tell you a little bit about my war experience. In 741st Field Artillery Battalion, and this was under Patton's Army, a lot of it. Captain Casson was the gentleman that employed me in the Army as the mailman for Battalion 741. And finally, on the January the 1st, 46, we pulled into the dock and started on our being discharged. But I thumbed for the first time in my life. The first 5 minutes that my thumb went up, a man and lady stopped the car, the man and wife, and wanted to know how far I was going. And I rode with them from Norfolk, Virginia, to Biscoe, North Carolina, which was 7 miles from my home. I got out, and another couple came by in 5 minutes and drove me home, not only to my town, but to my home. And of course, I had not announced to anybody that I was being discharged. The Army worked so many different ways that I wasn't sure of anything. And I sure was surprised, but I was home at last. What's that song? Home at last. And it was wonderful. Let me tell you about Ruth, my wife. I met Ruth, or I saw Ruth, at a basketball game in 1943. That's the year of my graduation. And she was playing basketball for Mount Gilead High School. And she was playing Troy this given night. When I saw her first on the court, I said, "That's the most beautiful girl I have ever seen." I mean, she was small like I was. She was 5'1" maybe, and I was 5'5", and she just was beautiful in every way. Ruth was the best wife that any man has ever had. She passed away in '01, and she was 75 at that time. She had cancer, and she lived a long and dear life, but man, I miss her. She was a precious one. When I was discharged, January 1, 1946, I went to work with a man I'll never forget as a wonderful, wonderful friend, John Hodge. He was a Lance distributor in North Carolina, and he gave me an opportunity, bought an extra truck and gave me a territory. I love that. I love meeting people. In Asheboro, North Carolina, I picked up a Baby Ruth wrapper one day, and I called them, and I chose Curtis Candy Company. Overall, I think I did right, in choosing Curtis. And they promoted me to move to Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee, as a district manager for the state of Tennessee. I zeroed in on Walmart, and with Walmart came fame. God was with me. First call, I called on Walmart. I think I made the sale. There is another very important man in my career, and his name is Bill Ellis. Bill Ellis owned Farley Candy Company. Had a lot of fun. Bill paid us well, and we enjoyed every minute of it. And that was the breakthrough of my life, being in the big time business. And I was grateful to my God, and I was grateful. I hit it all with all my buyers, and I did it, I think, by being honest, being frank, and being sincere. And as They've grown. I retired in 1975. Johnny, our son, was born October the 24th, 1951. And to say that was a happy day of our life, Ruth as well as myself, you can imagine. We lived on cloud nine forever, and really we've never came off. Only one child, and I don't believe we could have handled two like him. I thank God for my life. I'm reminded of the baseball player, maybe it was Mickey Mantle, that said, had I known I was going to live this long, I'd taken better care of myself. But I love sports, I love people, and especially the good ones.